You're up on both feet. Yeah.
All right, you guys. Look who's moving around outside. He's got a little bit of a limp. And Polly's feeling like she needs to assert her dominance. This is what's happening with the turkey and the rooster I just let go. She's not hurting him. She's just standing over him and asserting her dominance. So I'm just going to let it be. He's smart. He's worked it out. And once they get through this stage, she'll leave him alone. But they just need to work this out. Get out of there. I'll make a nice wallow for you right here. Do a nice wallow for you right there. Get out of there. Get out of there, girl. Get out of there. Get out of there. Come on. Come on, you. Yeah. Come on, you. I really like that. She's like, oh, thank you. I'll stand right here. Drink some water and... I have pig nipples coming to make them pig waterer out of that blue food safe container. Yeah, I can't blame you. Yeah. Yeah, you little piggy pig. Yeah, you little piggy pig. Hey, Reba. So anyway, so I don't like that this water, even though I've just cleaned it out, has a dirty tinge to it. So that's what we're going to do so that they can have clean water all the time. After I had one chicken sick, I'm making sure that things stay cleaner around here. So unfortunately, I have to wait like 3 weeks for these pig nipples to come. See, Barney's over there sitting by himself. He has an area where he can get in the shade, go closer to the water, or he can go in the house. I don't know how she's drinking straight out of it. Cute. Cute, cute. Someone asked me, why don't you get a proper fence? Very good question. Why we don't have a proper fence around the chickens is, one, we couldn't move them on a regular basis, or, you know, once a year or so. Two, as we have a big problem with coyotes. This is an electric fence. If I could get a fence that was permanent, or design a fence that was permanent where I could put wires around it, I might keep them in one spot on deep bedding, which I might do. That might be a possibility for us. But I would still want some kind of a wire around these chickens because the coyotes would try to get them. These guys can protect themselves. I don't have to worry about that. The pigs, they get, they need protection to stay in, not to keep things out, because pigs are more than strong enough to protect themselves. Can I not pull on the hose because you guys have been keeping it from going? Keeping it from going? Hey, sillies, silly pigs. They're like, no, we like the water. Hey guys, today we're going to give you a quick garden tour. I'm not done the garden, and I won't be for a bit, but there's so much transformation happening. That's why the weeds aren't perfect, and this isn't perfect, and that isn't perfect. Gardens aren't perfect, especially vegetable gardens. You're always going to have something that you're coming against. and as hot as it gets here and as wet as it gets here. We are green all year around. The only time some grasses will turn brown, but not very many. And if they do, it's during the winter. Because we are very moist, between the humidity and the dew factor, the grass stays pretty darn green, as you can see behind me. So the garden stays pretty green. Still have to water it, and I did this morning, but I'll show you what's happening in the garden. Okay, so cucumbers here, and we are getting plenty of cucumbers off of here now. So lots of cucumbers, even though we have a lot of cucumber beetles, but this is still producing a lot. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cucumbers on there. Plenty of pumpkins everywhere. These are my, which I thought I tied up right there, but maybe not. These are my sucker tomatoes. They are starting to take off like crazy, even though it's a little on the hot side. This is a pumpkin that's growing up and over our trellis here and is holding that pumpkin at the same time with no support. These are 2 cucumber plants coming up and over the trellis. This one, they both will. And then all around that is pumpkins growing, beans, having an okay harvest with that, tomatoes, having a wonderful harvest with that. We had one plant that has gone, and I think this one starting to bounce back after we had hornworms, and I'm still kind of seeing some damage, but it's kind of backing off. This is what tomatoes look like this time of year. So if your tomatoes and you're a first-time gardener, if your tomatoes kind of look like they got a lot of blight and stuff on them, that's what happens this time of year. I keep on picking my basil back, and I got to go to Sam's Club or Costco or something like that and get a bunch of Parmesan so I can make some fresh basil. Pumpkins growing everywhere. Zucchini plants are starting to wind down. So this is the only 2 zucchini plants I have left. Another cucumber plant coming up here, same variety. That is another pumpkin. And I was weeding in between here and then came across a couple spiders that I didn't want to be affectionate with, so I moved on. And we have some nice big pumpkins in there. This is our compost back here, and in our compost we have a couple zucchinis or I don't know. More tomatoes. We have a huge pumpkin growing inside the trellis, which I'm sure will split soon, but it just keeps on growing right there inside that trellis. Tomatoes. We love tomatoes, and they are coming in. We do have a lot of pest damage on our tomatoes, a lot of cracking, because we're getting a lot of heavy rain and then no rain. Everything's almost out of this bed. There's one more zucchini there and one pumpkin here. Gonna pull these heads. These are ready for harvest, and these heads are carrot flowers. They look like that. When they go to seed, this is what they look like. They come in like that, and then the seeds just fall right off of them. And we will harvest those, and those are Denver carrots, and we will be harvesting them, drying them inside really good, and then planting them. This is, I forget what herb this is. Anyways, thyme? No, can't remember. Anyways, pumpkin, and we have our shallots under, we got 2 pumpkins growing in our shallots, kind of squishing our shallots here. but there's shallots growing under there. And that's about it. That's about it for the garden. Not a whole lot going on. More pumpkins over here. And then we have these little baby, I thought they were acorn squash when I planted them, but they're turning out to be like the size of an apple. Not very big at all. This is our biggest one so far. And look at all of them. They're just little baby things. Next to a pumpkin, next to another pumpkin, next to another hanging pumpkin up there. This is thyme over here. Smells amazing. More tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes on this side. Huge pumpkin there. That is in a pot, and that is mint. And of course, this is asparagus. And this is its first year, and so we're letting it do its thing. It's about a 2-year-old thing, our plant. So next year or the year after, we will be harvesting from this. And these posts are here so that I can get something around there to pin them up so we don't end up with any more dead ones, because either the lawnmower runs over them or a weed whacker hits them when they're down like that. Otherwise, it doesn't hurt them really to be down, but they can crease and then break when they're like that. So the asparagus, especially this side of the bed, is doing amazing. Maybe I had a little more compost on this side. So next year I'll add a little more compost on the other side. So fantastic. Basil's looking amazing. We've been harvesting quite a bit and making pesto was our main game. We're letting some go to seed so I can collect the seed from it since it's done so well here. That's when you plant or collect a plant's seeds, is when something really thrives in your area. Go for it, collect those seeds, and grow it again year after year. Here's our little dog tomato right here, putting on plenty of tomatoes. I'll show you our other dog tomatoes. And what I mean by dog tomatoes is our dogs love tomatoes, and that's why we had a fence around the garden, because it wasn't keeping anything out other than the dogs. But this section right here, there's 1, 2, 3. Those are all dog tomatoes. This tomato and that tomato, all these tomatoes that have gone all the way up the trellis right here are all dog tomatoes that I didn't have to plant, that Elroy right here planted, or Bubba, or Astro, or Norman, and it's just a blessing. So what I forgot to tell you guys is that there's no fence around here because we are putting up permanent fencing eventually around the chicken coop. Or we are putting permanent fencing eventually around the garden here, and so that's why there's no fence up right now. And we can go ahead and put chicken wire down near the bottom that will keep the rodents and the rabbits out. And then this area, this is what I'm working on, and not spending so much time weeding this part of the garden, is that I'm mowing and stuff on this area, and we're going to come all the way around here and around this area, which I watered this morning because I did plant some seeds in here just to see what would happen. So this area has actually been planted with some vining crops. I thought that would be fine just to plant some cantaloupe and some more pumpkins. The reason why we're doing so many pumpkins is for the pigs. So I still am working on cleaning up this area from moving the chicken coop over there. You can see now Barney's in the shade. So this whole area, I don't know how many feet this is, probably 100 feet of garden. this area will be like row gardens, I believe. And then that area will be all in-ground beds. So this area would be crops like tomatoes and things where we can till up the soil just a little bit. And we're going to do some lasagna gardening. So a lot of this grass that I'm going to be plucking up here is going to go on top of here. And then more wood chips, more grass, more wood chips, more grass. Hopefully we can get some of those old wood chips. Can't tell I watered it all this morning. This is how hot it's been, guys. And this is why this project is so slow, is because it's been so hot lately. We will be doing wood chips, greens, wood chips and greens, really doing like a lasagna effect over here. Chris doesn't know that yet, but that's what my plan is. We're going to spread some of those heavier wood chips this way because this ground is pretty darn hard, and because it's been scraped back, and so all these grasses, thank God we have so much grass we can use. We can just go ahead and just do some lasagna gardening here so that we have more space. So I don't know if we'll be using that this year. That might have to sit over a year. We probably will use it next spring, starting next spring if we can. We'll be putting lots of manure on there, lots of all kinds of stuff. Maybe just put a little compost on top. We are working on compost. Plus we have, this is an old bottle. This is what you can do with old bottles, is I'm adding this to my compost tea, and I did fish emulsion in this one. I had 2 old bottles that I wasn't using anymore, and they were so thick and clumpy. So I'm just adding it to this compost tea here, and that is going to give us a lot more compost tea. We're going to fill up this whole thing with water, and we'll have 2 jugs of compost tea. And we just keep on adding weeds to that, which we have plenty of here on the homestead. And then we'll start working on this 3rd one, which I might just fill with weeds and water. And then we'll have 3 of these things full of compost tea for the garden and for the area around here. So that's it, guys. That's what's going on with the garden. That's how the garden is growing. Thank you for coming along with me today. God bless you, and we'll see you guys next time here on Hedgehog's Homestead. Bye.